First thing we do is switch the lamp on, and then we press the start button. We need to hold that down for a few seconds. What you should see is the light starting to come on. This will take 2 minutes to warm up. Whilst we're waiting for this to warm up, we need to unclip the lid, lift it up, then we need to make sure we clean the glass. Any bits of dust that's sitting on the surface of the glass will also come out on our print. We place an unexposed litho plate on top of the newsprint. It's important that we try to problem solve the print as we go along. Subsequently, what we need to make sure is that every time we place our positive on a plate, we're always placing that positive in the same position. So what I've done is I've placed this positive onto some acetate, which is exactly the same size as the plate that I'm working to. I'm going to place this film onto the litho plate, and I'm going to ensure that this corner edge lines up with the plate. If I always do that, if I always return this acetate to this corner on every plate, then I should always be at the same distance from this edge and this edge on every print. If I can get into the habit of that, I'm going to win. The positive is made on one side of the paper, and that's placed against the film, so that what we try to get as much as possible is the closest adhesion of the film to the plate, then we get the crispest image. Once we're happy that we've got the alignment, we can bring this glass lid down and we can clamp it into place. What we now need to do is to switch the vacuum on. So we switch the vacuum on here, and we wait for this dial to move around until it's in between the 20 and the 25. So what's happening is all the air is being sucked out to make sure that that positive is as close as possible to the litho plate. You can usually hear the sound once it's done that. Now for this sort of strength of positive, we're working on an exposure of about 35 seconds, and I've already set 35 seconds onto here. So we now need to flip the lid all the way around to ensure that this is going to come into contact with the light underneath. So we pull this lever here and the whole bed spins around. We can now switch the timer on. We're pressing the start button. So now that plate's being exposed to UV light, and what will happen is that the areas of the plate that are unexposed, i.e. where the positive is, that will become grease receptive, whereas the other areas of the plate will be grease repulsive. Now we pull the lever, we will turn this back to position. We can now turn the vacuum off, and we can turn the lamp off as well. And we can wait for the vacuum to die down. Once the plate's been exposed, we can then lift these levers back. We can lift up the glass plate, and we can take our film positive. And what we'll see is that the plate has a very slightly different coloration, which will correspond with our positive. We'll put that to one side for a moment. We'll move this out of the way, that film. We'll close the lid down, we'll bob that back into position, we'll flip this black back around the other way, and then we'll switch the mains off.